Hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining another Ready to Ride Pilates for Horse Riders session, where today we are going to be focusing on your hips and your glutes. Hopefully before you start this one you are already going to have done a little bit of a warm-up session, but just to make sure that everything is really ready, set to go, we are going to just go through a few quick simple warm-up exercises. So I would like you to start thinking of your light head, your relaxed shoulders, headlights to the front, soft knees and equal weight through your feet. Then pop your arms across your chest and you're going to turn your shoulders from side to side. And as you're turning, try to make sure that your shoulders stay level. Remember, dropping through your shoulders is the enemy of anyone who's trying to ride a decent circle. Also watch that your headlights are staying straight ahead and you've got that nice equal weight through both of your feet. Okay, then relax, face the front, let your arms drop by your side. I'm going to loosen off through your shoulders. There's nothing worse than a bit of tension. That's another one of our big enemies. Possibly the biggest enemy of all riders is tension. Tension in our bodies transmits to tension in the horse's body. So make sure you're loose and relaxed before you start. Then we're going to start engaging the whole of your body now. So we're going to do some walking on the spot. Apologies if my hands disappear from the top of the screen. I just can't quite get far enough away from the camera indoors. So as you're doing your walking, start to think about engaging your brain, thinking of your ribs, gently sinking down towards your pelvis, making sure your breathing stays regular and that your headlights are pointing straight ahead. If you can do your pelvic floor lift up onto floor 3 as well, then that would be absolutely brilliant. Okay, then we're going to bring your arms down and we're just going to loosen off a bit more through your hips. So you're going to bring one hip up, out and down, and the other one up, out and down. So as you're going, you're really opening out through the whole of your hip, but go with what movement is comfortable and easy for you. Obviously you need to keep your balance as well. So do what's easy for you, but just try to make sure you open out through the whole of your hip. We'll do one last one. And then we're going to move on to doing a roll down to get you down onto the floor. So I'd like you to stand with your feet gently together, knees soft, hands on the front of your thighs, chin onto your chest. You're going to slide your hands down the front of your legs, curling up through your spine as you go. Pause at the bottom for a breath in. Breathe out, slide your hands back up, tuck down with your pelvis and uncurl up to the very top of your neck. Then again, chin into your chest. This time try to feel you're moving every single vertebrae one at a time through the length of your spine until the pelvis moves last of all. Then another breath in. Breathe out, slide your hands back up again, stack down with your pelvis first. And then right up through to the whole of the top of your spine. And one last go. Chin into your chest. And again, slide your hands down, trying to move every single vertebrae as best as you can. Easier said than done, particularly if you're doing this in the morning. At the bottom, breathe in, and as you breathe out, bend your knees, and we're going down, and we're starting off on your side, and we're going to do your clam exercise. So if you can make sure that your feet are lined up with your bottom. I'd like you, if you possibly can, to do this with your feet off the floor, but if you're not feeling up for that today, keep your feet on the floor, that's absolutely fine. Mouse holes open, pelvic floor onto floor 3, and if you can have your top hand onto your top headlight, that would be great. So I'm going to go in the level 2 position, and we're going to start off just opening and closing through that top knee, watching that that top headlight stays still. Remember, this is a hip exercise, hip and glutes exercise. We don't want the pelvis joining in. Then see about adding in a few of those lovely leg extensions. You can mix it up, so if you don't want to do too many extensions, you can just stay doing the straightforward clam. But whatever you do, make sure you always keep your mouse hole open, headlight still, so you're isolating the movement to the hip, and your pelvic floor is staying onto floor 3. Okay, we'll do one more of this one. Okay, feet down if they were up. I'd like you to prop up onto your forearm and pop your legs into your capital L position. So that straight line from shoulders, hips to knees, knees bent to 90 degrees. Top hand once again onto your top headlight. Float your top leg, and we're going to do your side kick or otherwise known as the coffee table polishing exercise. So as you're doing this, you want your hip, knee and foot to stay level with each other. This is another hip control exercise, really targeting your glutes muscles. If you find that a bit easy, you can lift your pelvis. Just makes it a wee bit harder. Now you're working the glutes more on your lower leg as well. If you find that your shoulder or elbow is starting to struggle, then by all means do this absolutely flat on the floor. It's absolutely fine. This is kind of the hardest level one we're doing here now if you're doing this one. Just watch still that that headlight is not moving, checking that you're not rocking backwards and forwards through that headlight and cheating and not isolating the movement to the hip. Okay, we can do one more. Then pop that leg down. We're going to pop it onto your back and we're going to have a go at doing your hip twist. So you've got two options for this exercise. Whichever one you do, hands onto your headlights, so you've got good bit of feedback from your hands about what your pelvis is up to. Neutral tummy position, pelvic floor onto floor 3. And you can do this from the floor, so your feet stay on the floor and you just roll out through the knee. If you want to do it slightly harder, come up into tabletop and you're going to take the whole of each leg out in turn. Remember, this is one of your wine glass exercises. Hopefully you're not quite as close to the wall as me. Because this is one of your wine glass exercises, the leg that isn't moving wants to stay as still as you can possibly keep it. So all this movement is coming just from the hip and leg on one side, and you're keeping the other leg still. Watch your rib position, make sure that your ribs are gently sinking down towards your pelvis. We'll do one more with each leg. Watch that your breathing is regular. Feet down one at a time if you're in tabletop. And then we're going to spin round, or you can turn and face the other way. And we're going to go straight back into your clown on the other side. Okay, so check. Feet lined up with your bottom, off the floor if you're happy to do so. Mouse holes open, pelvic floor onto floor 3, top hand onto your top headlight, and off you go. So once again, just get your brain in gear, thinking about the quality of your straightforward climb, and then you can start to add in some of your extensions. Watching all the time that mouse hole is open, pelvic floor is staying onto floor 3, and your breathing is staying nice and regular. It's another thing that we pass on to the horse. If we find we're holding our breath, not only does it increase our tension, but we pass that on to the horse. They feel us holding our breath. They're probably more likely to do the same themselves. We'll do one more. Okay, bring your legs down if they were up. And once again, we're going to prop up into your capital L position. So looking for that straight line from shoulders, hips, knees, knees bent to 90 degrees. Top hand once again onto your top headlight, pelvic floor, and then you're going to do your coffee table polishing once again. So just like with the other side, if you do find, particularly a lot of us have one shoulder that isn't quite as comfortable as the other, if you need to go flat to do this, absolutely fine. I'll give you all the options. Watching that that headlight is still and you're isolating that movement to your hip and your glutes. Then if you want to make it a bit harder, lift the pelvis and off you go again. So now you're working both of your legs, but in slightly different ways. Just watch that headlight is still and you're not cheating and creating the movement through moving your low back and pelvis. So really keep it just to the hip. Watch the breathing, keep it regular. And keep your pelvic floor onto floor 3. We'll do a couple more. It's hard work, but we want good stamina as well. Okay, bring that leg down. And now we're going to come up into kneeling. And we're going to do an exercise called the kneeling roll-up, which is a really good one for improving your control, particularly if you're doing a lot of trot work. It's particularly good for rising trot. Also great if you're doing lots of jumping. So you want to be basically balanced. Don't have your knees too close together. Knees balanced underneath your hips. And you're just going to go down and back up, down and back up. And what I'd like you to focus on with this is that you are leading this movement with your headlights. So try to keep your shoulders balanced over your headlights. Think about when you are moving with the horse, you don't really want your shoulders to be getting too involved. So be strict with yourself that the headlights are leading the movement. good, we'll do a couple more. Okay, then I'd like you to come up and we're going to do a hip flexor stretch. So remember, when we're stretching, we're not lengthening tissue, we're just trying to get it to work through its full range. We're taking the tissue through its full range, making sure that it's not getting tight, particularly after we have worked it, but we're not making it longer. So in this position, think of your headlights, tilt them up towards the ceiling and then gradually go forwards. You should feel the tension through here and then back off. And again, tilt upwards, push forwards and back off. We're going to do one more this side, so tilt upwards, push forwards and back off. Then we're going to swap and do the same thing on the other side. So swap over, get yourself balanced. Sometimes this can feel a strange position to balance in. Headlights forwards, and then you're going to tilt them upwards and push forwards. Feel the stretch now down the front of your other thigh and come back off. And again, tilt your headlights upwards and push forwards and back off. And we're going to do one more just like that, so upwards and forwards and back off and relax. So we're going to finish there. That was a short and sharp session targeting several different muscle groups all around your hips. So hopefully you now feel a little bit stretched, a little bit more loose, but also that you've had a bit of a good workout, particularly of your glutes. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful, and I will see you very soon. Bye bye.